Acknowledge the Honourable Member for St. Peter.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. First, Madam Speaker, let me say my absence yesterday. I suffered from asthma, and I had an asthma attack, and also I did follow the entire debate, though, on the television yesterday, so there was no disrespect for the Parliament. I try my best to always be here for every sitting, especially the budget, and to sit through and to listen to all the speakers, Madam Speaker. Anyway, Madam Speaker, I rise today to make my contribution to the 2012 budget as presented by the... If someone was admitted to hospital in the morning at 11 o'clock and she's pregnant and she's complaining of abdominal pain,
Honourable Member.
Until midnight.
Honourable Member.
Yes.
Honourable, please. Honourable Member. Again, don't go overboard on that.
I am not going to go overboard.
No, you are not a doctor.
You, Madam Speaker.
You're not a doctor.
But that is a fact.
You are prejudging a situation, and I would advise you to stop.
I want to ask you, Madam Speaker, are you aware of how many cases that have been brought for malpractice against the Mount St. John? Are you aware?
Honourable Member, I would ask you to stop.
But why we don't want the truth to come out, Madam Speaker?
You are not in a position because you are not in the position to determine the truth. Are you a medical doctor?
I'm not sure of what.
Honourable members, let's leave this subject alone. Move on, please.
And you know, Madam Speaker, the truth is this is not a one-off situation. I've come here in previous debates. I have listed out a whole slew of things. I've come here in the past, Madam Speaker. You all don't like to hear it. I will move on. But I've mentioned all the negligencies, the mishaps. Now you have a whole slew of law cases against the government. I don't know why you all don't want, so nobody can mention what is going on.
Well, if they're legal cases, let the court try them. Let the court try them. We're not going to try them. We're not trying, no, we are not trying cases in here.
Keep quiet. This is a simple case.
We are not trying any cases in here.
I'm not trying no case.
Well, leave them alone. Let them be tried in the courts of law.
If they, all it needed was proper surgical management and investigation and proper care. But the proof of the pudding is in the eating. Listen to the death announcements every day.
Can we move on from this?
All I will say on this,
I don't want anything else on this.
All I have to say is that the contract up there, look, you had your turn to speak. That contract that was negotiated up there, Madam Speaker, was not negotiated by this present Minister of Health. It was negotiated by a previous Minister of Health. And the poor present Minister of Health has flung his hands up in the air. He has given up, and he has said he can do no more.
Madam Speaker,
he can't do anything no more.
On a point of information.
No, I'm not yielding to you, man. You have enough talk. I'm not yielding. I'm not yielding.
Honourable Member, if he does not yield.
I'm not yielding. Sit down. So I'm saying that this good minister has backed off.
Honourable Member for Rural North, please.
This good minister has to back off because he has nothing to do with the negotiations. He didn't put that management contract up there. So he's stuck with it. So he has basically given up and thrown his hands up in the air. Madam Speaker, I'm saying the minister is well aware of what's happening up there, though, you know. He's well aware. I understand also that the number of doctors in emergency and operating theaters is often no more than one at a time, Madam Speaker. And that was the problem last week, I was made to learn. The long awaits at the emergency center, Madam Speaker, that has to change. Will that be continuing into 2012? Are there budget allocations for an increase in the number of emergency room doctors, Madam Speaker? Because I have seen none. I have seen none. And the liability that will attach as a consequence of any negligent death, you don't want me to mention any case, whether it's a 22-year-old woman or older person, it will exceed many times the cost over hiring additional competent medical doctors. So let them put it in the budget and fund you to bring in proper doctors and adequate enough for the emergency and the operating rooms. Madam Speaker, can I address the state? of the Param Clinic, of the clinic in Param now, Madam Speaker. You don't know the amount of people dying up there every day like flies.
Honorable member, honorable members.
Madam Speaker, can I address the state of the clinic, the health clinic in Param? The amount of grass and vegetation mix getting to the clinic whenever rain falls, Madam Speaker. A threat to the well-being of expectant mothers, to the elderly and even the professionals who work there. They complain every day. The place is surrounded by high bush. No time about no rain coming, because it's bush all year round because the clinic is in Param. The private contractor used to keep the grass cut has been fired now, Madam Speaker. Now the growth is beyond reasonable. The building itself is in poor shape. It leaks. Water come down and wet down the nurses and the patients. I had the district nurse in my office on Thursday last week, complaining. Not even a Doppler the ministry will buy, so that they can sound the heart of the babies. The supplies are non-existent. The monthly supply of cleaning fluids, just like Clorox and other necessities, are so inadequate that donations must be sought. The medical supplies to enable assessment of the patient's health are woefully lacking. When will the Param Clinic be treated as though it is responsible for ensuring good health? The people up there must not be victimized. Madam Speaker, healthcare is important not just for Mount St. John, but in all the urban districts, and all the district clinics are equally as important. Madam Speaker, the young men and women who utilize the basketball court and sporting facilities in Param, we now have to confront cassie trees. Cassie trees growing all in the middle of the court. They can't even play basketball. They won't clean it. They fire the people. The bathrooms don't work. It's not right. The whole place is overgrown with unwanted vegetation. I want to ask the Minister of Sports and Minister of Public Works, or whichever ministry is in charge, when will the fenced sporting fields in Param and Piers and the bathroom facilities receive attention? In fact, the basketball court in Piers that dug it up 7 years ago, gave it a private contractor, never fixed it back. So for 7 years, those young people can't play basketball in Piers. How can that be right? And there's 2 lights on the Piers football field. 2! And I have to go in my pocket and buy lights every year, because this government refused. The only 2 fields they refused